Can you hear me? There? Good. So here is my fortune cookie, but it tells me, women and money rule the world. And then, you know what, the little one, she knew that I was planning to be here with very important females attending very important meetings. So she looked at me like puzzled and said, hey, the fortune cookies, they truly know the future. So I will keep it. So let me, for today, quick agenda, what I want to share with you. So I will tell about me and what I've got to know, a few things that I've got to know over the past years. I will share with you how I project myself I will share with you something about the partner, my life partner. Fernando, he's bald, so I will put just... I will share something about strategizing. When from A, you be to B, and then to C, or why not going from A to C, straight over. I'm also talking about going, and then dreaming big. And I'm talking finally about living and enjoying the journey. Fair agenda for today? And I hope that I will cover in 15 minutes, well, in less than 15 minutes now. Michelle, I promise. So, the first idea was that I will share some insights from books, but then Michelle came and she said, no, why don't you link those insights from books to your own story at EMC? And I say, my personal story, that sounds odd, but okay, I say, okay, I will give it a try because of you. And then here I am, I'm sharing a few insights of and how they linked in my particular story at EMC, moving from individual contributor to manager, and then to director. The first book that I want to share with you the insight is called The Princesa. It's Machiavello for women. The first time I read this book, it was in my early 20s. It did not strike me at all as a good book. Actually, I couldn't make any sense of any of the advices in the book. But you know, when you are 20s, for here the people who are in the 20s, it's all about like expressing yourself and let the world accommodate to your style. You know, when you are in your late 30s, in your 40s, you learn some things about life. And you understand that you need to accommodate to the world. So, and then this got me thinking. Women tend to rely on others like very and really. They would say, that is really, really very good, as if her opinion wasn't worthy and needed to be emphasized. So, and then here, let me share with you some, an episode in my life in this company. Almost 5 years ago, with Detlef, most of you have heard about Detlef. He was my manager, and then I was 1 year with him. So I had some slot with him, and I say, hey, Detlef, I want some feedback. He was took by surprise. He was not expecting that. So he looked at me, breathed. I was thinking, oh my God. He breathed. And he told me, Anna, you look much less senior than you are. And that might be because you come across too soft and too joyful. I was taken aback. From all the feedback that I could have thought, he will tell me, I never expect this. It took me a few days to digest it. But when I fully digested, this has been one of the best advice ever. I received. Let me tell you why. And for those who know me, come on, I keep being very joyful, very much. Actually, from the greatness from EMEA, from my times in EMEA, where everything was great, 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 I went into with my Americans, and now everything is awesome, awesome, awesome. So, all good. But now, I'm aware of when and with whom I'm showing myself joyful and totally transparent. And these days, I'm more intentional whenever I'm writing down, whether I'm using really, really, or very, very good. Because if I say good, it's good. I don't need to use any adverb to qualify it. Good. Then I'm not, what? I'm not going into this because the videos here, I don't want to taste my chances. But this is the Pantene ad, which is called Why Are Women Always Apologizing? If you hasn't watched it, first thing out tonight, watch this video. The ad Pantene of not stop apologizing. So it's, we females, we need to be aware of our wording because words matters. Projecting. Amy Cuddy. Who has watched the Amy Cuddy TED Talk on power poses? Oh, come on, come on, come on. Amy Cuddy on power poses. No. Okay, so the Pantene ad and then the TED Talk on Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy did this amazing, amazing podcast about how the body language will send you messages into your brain. And so you will feel more powerful if you act powerfully, okay? So because that will increase your level of testosterone and decrease your levels of cortisol. So you will feel better in your own skin. After that TED Talk, which I hope that everyone will watch it, I will make sure with Michelle to send it to you. She wrote this book called Presence. And I got two insights from this book for you to share with you today. The first is inwards. She said, in essence, self-affirmation is the practice of clarifying your story to yourself. Allowing you to trust that who you are will come through naturally in what you say and do. So we need to believe ourselves. We need to trust our own story. But first of that, we need to have a story. And you need to stop, think, dedicate the time to you because you are awesome, and then have your own story. And the second is on the outwards. She said, simply changing your body position affects how you feel about yourself, and by default, how others see you. And then he continues, even if you don't feel confident, act like it, and your chances of success greatly improve. And here, let me share with you another example. 4 years and a half ago, I was running the operations, HR operations for Israel, Portugal, and Greece. And then Mary Jones, I don't know, Mary Jones is in the room. No, she's not. So she sent me this email saying, Detlef Krauss wants to talk to you. I said, oh my God, I was no one at that time. No, well, I was not one at that time, and then Detlef wanted to talk to me. So I was first intimidated, then very anxious. And then the day came, and he just came in and said, hey, Anna, glad to talk to you. Listen, we are thinking in this position for global accounts, channels, and alliances, and I'm thinking of you. And then I said, oh, Detlef, first off, thank you so much. But respectfully, I'm not prepared. I'm not ready for that job. And I was so proud of saying that, of course. I hold on, and then went back home. And then I told Fernando, with a bittersweet, of course, because a VP had thought of me and I had said no. So. And then he said, are you sure you're not ready? And I said, well, yeah, ready now? No, I'm not ready now. At that time, he helped me to start thinking, We females tend to think always in our present. What do we do now? What are we capable now? Not in our potential and our abilities. Those things that we can learn and improve over time. So of course, the following day, I called Mary Jones. I said, Mary Jones, I need a second call with Detlef Krauss. I need something to talk to him. He kept me with him for 1 week. The longest week in this, in my career at EMC. Of course, when we have the call, I say, hey, Detlef, I had second thoughts. I think that I can do that position. And 2 weeks after, I got the position. 2 years after, I was doing fine. I was enjoying my life here in EMEA with channels, with alliances, you remember that. And then I got a text from Detlef. So we moved from the secretary to the text. That was good. So a text from Detlef, Anna, I need to have you tomorrow at 8 a.m. in my office. Once again, I don't know why, I tend to think always the worst thing, what I did, Anyway, 8 a.m. I was at his desk. And he told me, listen, Anna, there is this vacancy for a global job for pre-sales. It's been open for a long time. And then some corporate colleagues have thought of you. What do you think?
Awesome. That would be awesome. Really, really, really good.
So what I thought for me, I say, no way, that's way too big for me. What I told him is, yes, sir, I will be delighted to throw my hat to that ring. And here I am. Good. So now let's move into partnering. Sorry if I'm getting long. It will be short. Partnering. The Lean In book. Everyone knows about this book. And please tell me yes? Yes. Okay, good. So we learn about having a seat on the table. We learn about the perpetual feeling of guiltiness that we women have. The myth of having it all. How to negotiate. We learn tons of things. Thank you to you, because you bought me that book. You gave me that book first. But the one that I'm picking is on partnering. I truly believe that the single most important career decision that a woman makes is whether she will have a life partner and who that partner is. I don't know of one woman in a leadership position whose life partner is not fully, and I mean fully, supportive of her career. I must say that in my case, I have the fortune to have as a partner Fernando de la Prida, who works as well at EMC. And just to give you an example, when they offered me the global position, they told me, hey, by the way, but you will need to relocate 2 years to Hopkinton. And then I rapidly run and then call Fernando and say, Fernando, this is what it is. And he told me, you say yes, and we will make it to work through.
Wow.
So that's, you pick someone. Strategizing. So this is this book that I'm sure all of you have heard, The Art of War. It's pretty well known for strategy in business. In this particular case, The Art of War is written by Qin-Ning Chu. It's a Chinese writer, and it's tailored for women. I got tons of learnings from this book, but in particular this one. Not only do what you want to win the battle, not only do what you want to win the battle, you want to make sure it is worth fighting. That's key. And then, quickly, example. Now that you are asking me to link it to examples. When I was in global services, running HR for EMEA South, but Michelle was my first manager in an international position. And then later it came Michelle Monica Rancati. She took me aside one day and asked me, Anna, what do you want to do with your life? Quite a big question, huh? But I thank her so much for that question. And then I told her, listen, I am passionate about growing people, talent, and then about helping business leaders to build best-of-class organization. She looked at me and said, but you know what, Anna? With only running programs, hiring and development, you are not going to do that. Because you need to become a round and sound HR practitioner. You truly need to know what is the nasty side of HR whenever you need to go through a restructuring. I'm very bluntly here, but so, and she said, okay, yes. I say yes, but I will be up for the challenge. Give me the opportunity. I clearly didn't know what I was committing for. But 3 weeks after, I was named to run Israel, Portugal, and Greece. And I was asked to restructure the business in Portugal and Greece because, remember, it was the crisis in Europe for those two countries, 15%. So one country manager, one district manager, 7 sales reps, services, all those, I need to do it. It was everything but nice. Anytime towards the end of the 2 years, whenever I came into the office, there was no one there. No one wanted to see me, of course. So, you know, but in foresight, when I see back, the fight was hard, but it was worthy. So make sure that when you pick your fights, make sure that the motivation is righteous, is noble, and is worthy. Dreaming. I'm Colombian. When I was 10 years old, I have this huge desire to live abroad. And then no one understands it. I'm only child, and then my parents, they panicked of me going abroad. But that's what I was in my mind. And then at that time, I had 0 to none possibilities to go outside. And listen what? Hear what? Once I get out of the, let's say, the gravitational attraction of that point, I was able to move. I live in England, I lived 2 years in Switzerland, I'm living in Madrid, where I picked that place because I love Madrid as a rational decision to live there. And now I'm spending half of my life in Hopkinton, so that counts as well. So, listen, be bold, think big, and write down, and let me highlight that, write down what you want and by when you want it. Because chances are that your wings will grow during the process. And here I will be more proactive than Coco Chanel in saying, do something. The wings will grow, but do something. And then, last but not least, and with this I'm finishing, I'm a big fan of Arianna Huffington. She wrote this book, Thrive. And then there is a sentence which I love, which is, life is a dance between making it happen and letting it happen. So we need to be wise to know that there are things we can control and we can make them happen, and there are others we cannot control. So let's go. And by the way, she uses the dance instead of a struggle, because this needs to come natural whenever we let go and when we make it happen. And then this one. Oh, sorry. Disconnect from our technology to reconnect with ourselves is absolutely essential for wisdom. So Facebook is great, Twitter is great, Pinterest, Instagram, everything. But we need to dedicate time to us to really think through, because these things go too quickly, and we sometimes don't just stop and breathe and think about it. So every single day, we are crafting our lives, our careers, our leaderships. Be intentional to learn every day and become your best self. Thank you so much.